Forget everything you think you know about the ninja. These shadowy figures weren't just assassins lurking in the dark or warriors hurling shuriken. Their true power was something far more dangerous. Something invisible. They could make enemies see ghosts, hear whispers in the night, or even believe they were cursed. Without ever drawing a blade, they could turn allies into enemies and bring entire armies to their knees. But how did they do it? And why was this weapon feared more than any sword? Long before the word ninja existed, they were known as shinobi, silent operatives who thrived in the shadows. Their origins stretch back to the Heian period, 794–1185, when Japan was ruled by aristocrats and torn apart by rival clans. In a world where honor bound the samurai to rigid codes of warfare, deception became a powerful tool for survival. These early shinobi weren't just warriors. They were spies, saboteurs, and masters of illusion. They spread false information, turned allies against each other, and struck where enemies least expected. By the time the Sengoku period, 1467–1615, erupted into chaos, deception had become an art form, and shinobi were its grandmasters. But just how far could deception go? Could it truly be more powerful than the sword? While samurai fought with steel, shinobi wielded fear itself. They were masters of psychological warfare, turning superstition into a weapon sharper than any blade. Under the cover of night, some disguised themselves as vengeful spirits, painting their faces with eerie, glowing dyes or mimicking the whispers of the dead to unnerve their enemies. Others spread carefully crafted rumors, turning powerful warlords against each other or convincing entire armies that their commander was cursed. One famous example comes from the late 16th century when the ninja of Iga and Koga faced Oda Nobunaga's brutal campaign to destroy them. Outnumbered and outmatched, the shinobi fought not with swords, but with fear, setting fires that appeared to ignite on their own, planting false messages to confuse Nobunaga's forces, and even sneaking into enemy camps to leave chilling warnings carved into trees. But deception didn't stop at shadows and whispers. Shinobi could become anyone, a wandering monk, a lowly merchant, even a trusted retainer, slipping into enemy ranks unnoticed, faking their own deaths, or manipulating events from within. To the unsuspecting, it seemed like dark magic. In reality, it was something far more dangerous, an invisible war where the mind, not the sword, decided who lived and who fell. A true ninja could make you fight an enemy that wasn't even there. Misdirection was one of their deadliest tools, turning the battlefield into a stage where nothing was as it seemed. Decoys and doppelgangers allowed shinobi to be in two places at once. While a lookalike lured enemies into an ambush, the real ninja slipped past unseen. Entire battles were sometimes staged with nothing but clever deception. Fires set strategically to mimic the glow of an advancing army. Wooden cutouts placed on ridges to appear as hidden archers, and the eerie sound of clashing swords played from the darkness to send enemies into panic. A striking example of this comes from the 1580s when the Hattori clan, legendary shinobi of Iga, faced the overwhelming forces of Tokugawa Ieyasu's enemies. Knowing they couldn't win by strength alone, they set a valley ablaze, using torches and hidden drums to simulate a massive advancing army. Convinced they were outnumbered, the enemy forces retreated in disarray, beaten not by swords, but by shadows and sound. These tactics weren't just about survival, they were about control. By the time an enemy realized the truth, the real battle had already been lost. A sword can cut down a single enemy, but deception? That can topple empires. The shinobi understood that true power wasn't in brute force, but in controlling perception itself. Why risk open battle when you could turn an enemy against himself? Why storm a fortress when you could convince the guards to open the gates? These tactics weren't just the weapons of feudal Japan. They shaped the very nature of warfare and espionage across the world. During World War II, The Allies used deception on a massive scale, from fake radio transmissions to inflatable tanks, tricking German forces into defending the wrong locations. One of the most famous examples, Operation Fortitude, convinced the Nazis that the D-Day invasion would land in Pas-de-Calais instead of Normandy, helping secure victory. And deception didn't fade with the rise of technology. It simply evolved. Today, entire narratives can be shaped through misinformation, bot networks, and social engineering. Just as ninja infiltrated enemy strongholds in disguise, modern scammers and cyber operatives blend into online spaces, manipulating opinions, spreading falsehoods, and even steering financial markets. A single well-placed lie can do more damage than an army, proving that, even in the digital age, deception remains one of the most powerful weapons of all. As Japan unified under the Tokugawa shogunate in the 1600s, the need for mercenary spies faded, and the ninja all but disappeared into legend. Their weapons were cast aside, their clans scattered, and the age of the shinobi came to an end. But while the warriors vanished, their legend only grew stronger. In the modern era, the word ninja was adopted and transformed into something larger than life. No longer just spies or assassins of feudal Japan, they became pop culture icons, figures of mystery, skill, and near superhuman ability. The iconic black-clad ninja, slipping unseen through the darkness, was largely a creation of kabuki theater, where stagehands dressed in black to remain invisible. This visual trick was later absorbed into films, comic books, and anime, giving birth to the modern image of the ninja we recognize today. Movies like Shinobi no Mano, 1962, helped establish a grittier, more historical take on ninja warfare, while Enter the Ninja, 1981, and Revenge of the Ninja, 1983, ushered in the Hollywood ninja craze of the 80s. Then came pop culture giants like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and video games such as Shinobi and Tenchu, cementing the ninja as an unstoppable warrior in the minds of fans worldwide. Yet their greatest weapon, the art of deception, never vanished. It evolved, adapted, and continues to shape the hidden battles of the modern world. Because in the end, the sharpest blade isn't the one you can see, it's the one you never even knew was there. Thanks for watching.